Hi everyone, I'm Dermot Kelly, the Unitary Plan Man, and welcome to Got a Minute. Criteria for exempt granny flats. You can now build a granny flat without a building consent if it is a new standalone and single story structure. Its floor area is 70 square metres or less, including any internal garages. It is built using lightweight steel or timber framing and lightweight roof cladding, i.e. long run. It does not include a level entry shower, so you can't have a tiled shower that may need a waterproof membrane. You can buy these types of showers from Bunnings where they are raised and they can go straight in. To be qualified for this, you must use licensed building professionals who will carry out or supervise the work, and they must be able to issue you with certificates to prove that. The structure must be at least 2 metres away from any other buildings or boundaries on the property. The property, if you're putting in kitchens, it must have connections to the public stormwater and toilets, obviously. It has to have connections to the public wastewater network, or it should have a compliant on-site water and drainage system, and council will be involved with that. The land cannot be affected by natural hazards. So this is a big one at the moment with Plan Change 120 just being released, very important, the natural hazards. The building design must be fully compliant with the building code. It cannot have any waivers or modifications. Councils do have the ability to waive or modify certain requirements of the building code in respect of a build, e.g. The durability of the building installation, or the requirements of a local gas or power provider. Also, that speaks to access to the property. However, any waiver or modification will always be part of a building consent and therefore is not applicable to the granny flat. I hope that makes sense. The granny flat exemption, we should say, so then you would be involved with the building consent. Even if a granny flat was built under the consent exemption, it must still comply with all other regulatory requirements. So this would be the building code, the district plan, the need for a PIM, which is a property information memorandum, and any relevant resource consents. A consent exempt granny flat that does not meet building codes standards or breaches council planning rules is still non-compliant, and this impacts your disclosure obligations. So it's really important you put everything up front. You just can't try and push it through hoping that everything's going to be okay afterwards. Whew. Well, that's quite a mouthful, I must admit. It's not quite as easy as the politicians would have wanted us to believe a few months ago when they announced these exemptions. There still exists great opportunity, I think, for people to build granny flats on their properties. I suppose the greatest takeaway from what we can see today is that before proceeding with a granny flat, you do need to ensure that you have covered everything and you have at the very least a PIM from your local council which will detail what the expectations are. My reading between the lines on this is that unless you have a cookie cut application, in other words, very simple application, you will be required to obtain a resource consent from council. However, I'm not a planner. As always, we do recommend that you talk to a qualified planner before you push the green button. Look, I hope that helps you today, at least get you in the right direction. Please give me a call anytime if you'd like to discuss further or you would like a recommendation for a good planner. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.